application and interest in serving as a circuit court judge. I'm the chair. My name is Travis Waddock. We have 7 commissioners here and 1 by Zoom. This is currently a vacancy in the civil division in DeLand. Division 2, this could be a civil, family, or criminal position anywhere in our circuit. We received 19 applications. We can only certify 6. Why should you make that top list?
First of all, good morning. Thank you for having me here today. I have served the citizens of the 7th Circuit for 17 plus years by working at the state attorney's office. And I would like to continue serving this circuit in a different capacity, hopefully as a circuit judge. In my time as a prosecutor, I have appeared in front of numerous different judges, some now retired, some still active on the bench, and have been able to see different ways that different judges handle their courtrooms and everything. And I believe that through that experience, I have gained a lot of my own experience and ways of doing things and seeing how, someone may come in for a misdemeanor DUI, say you're in county court, or someone may come in for a divorce and child custody stuff. How their courtroom experience, how they might be treated by the judge or anyone in there can greatly impact what they think of the judicial system. A misdemeanor petty theft might be nothing to those of us that have been practicing for years and years, but it's the most important thing to that person that might be facing jail time or something, or a situation where someone is going through a divorce and it's very scary. You don't know what's going to happen, and the way the judge might treat them, talk to them, can have a lasting impression on how they view the judicial system. And I think I would make a good judge and be able to handle politely and effectively.
As an applicant for judge, you must know the Florida Code of Judicial Conduct. How many times do you think you've read those rules?
Probably not many.
Did you read them prior to submitting the application?
I did not.
In your opinion, what are the qualities of a great circuit court judge?
Patience, timeliness, listening to what the attorneys or parties have to say. Also realizing that the practice of law, there are a ton of areas of practice of law. I've been practicing criminal law for my entire career, and I guarantee there are things that I still don't know about that. And being able to realize that we don't know everything. Sometimes you might have to take a step back, talk to colleagues, do some research to make a proper decision in the case. I'm not scared to ask questions, realize that I do not know everything. None of us do. And I would be willing to learn, obviously, different areas of law. Then I'm most familiar with criminal, but obviously it would be, there's a vast area of law that a circuit judge could potentially be assigned to. I am no stranger to learning the rules, the laws, and any of that kind of stuff, and I'm not scared to ask questions and admit that I do not know everything.
That's a good question. There are a lot of prosecutors on this list. How do you distinguish yourself from the others?
Thinking who's all on it. I think one thing that is helpful to me is my age. I just turned 42 last month, so I have over 17 years of experience. And also, if I were to get this appointment, I believe the retirement age was bumped up to, 75 now? So that's a lot of years on a bench, assuming that you run re-election. So I think age is great. I come with a lot of experience. And if I was to get to the appointment, that's a lot of years on the bench. In my time with the state attorney's office, I've been assigned to a variety of different assignments, whether it's misdemeanor. I spent a lot of time in drug unit over in our DeLand office, and so I've worked very closely with law enforcement I was on call, I think, for 8 years straight. So any night, I would get a phone call asking questions. Also during that time in DeLand, I was assigned to what we call our CCU division, our career criminal unit. And so I was in charge of a couple other prosecutors that were in the courtroom with me and had to oversee their cases and some of the work they were doing. And that assignment handled career criminal cases, obviously, PRR, HFO, gun cases, also sex crimes. And then my most recent division, I have been over in intake since September of 2018. So I handle cases for the city of Daytona, and then I took on the city of Edgewater also. In that particular role, I think you have to look at cases from all sides of the spectrum. As a prosecutor, what elements I can prove. You also have to look at it from a judicial standpoint of potential motions to suppress that may come in front of a judge. So you're having to look at, say, there was a consent to search. You also need to look at it from a defense standpoint and what arguments that a defense attorney may bring up, and then decide if charges are appropriately filed and what we can prove or maybe combat if challenged by the defense attorney. I also, even though I was never assigned to our homicide unit, I did co-chair a few trials with other prosecutors. So I've done basically everything that I could potentially do at the state attorney's office, and I think I'm probably one of the few on the list that is, of the prosecutors, that's done a little bit of every aspect of a prosecutor. I think that would be why I would stand out, because I think I've been in every single division that our office has.
Have you worked outside of Volusia County?
No, I have not.
Does anyone have any other questions?
I'll ask, if you have a prosecutor seek the death penalty against a child predator based on the new legislation, how will you reconcile that with current precedent in the Supreme Court saying that that violates the Eighth Amendment?
Well, you're going to have to look into everything and determine, goodness, on that. So, I mean, ultimately we have to follow the law as a judge, so I would have to look into what the Constitution says, what the new law says, and reconcile what is actually the appropriate law to be followed at the time. As a judge, that is the role, not to legislate from the bench. So it's looking at what perhaps the Constitution says and the new law, and determining what is actually following the law, and not deciding it based on what I think is right or wrong.
Do you believe that the Eighth Amendment prohibits the death penalty in child predator cases?
That would be something I would have to look more into. I'm not prepared to answer that right now at this point in time. I have to research that.
I did think it was refreshing that you reversed taking littles, but you listed them as your second reference.
Even when I was an intern, actually, the first summer that I interned in juvenile court, Judge Clayton was the judge, and Judge Jimmy is something different, and so that was definitely an interesting experience. And then when I first got promoted to felony, I came over from the DeLand office over here, and then when Mr. Larissa won the election, I got sent back to DeLand, and I was in front of Judge Clayton for about 5 years, and then we had the break with Judge Rowe coming in and then Clayton coming back. He's one of my favorite people to practice in front of, honestly, and the Jermaine Littles case was quite funny, because I remember that motion to suppress, there was a similar one, and he had ruled against the prosecutor at the time. The prosecutor appealed him, and the DCA they PCA'd him, and so he was all excited about that. And so when that case came about, and it was very similar facts, and he was like, well, you know what happened last time? State, I ruled against you, and I got PCA'd, and he's like, what are you gonna do if I rule against you again? I'm like, well, I'm gonna appeal you and hope that the DCA writes an opinion this time, and maybe we'll get an answer, and I can tell the cops, hey, stop doing this, or this is okay, and they reversed him. And he wasn't happy about it, but he's a good spirit. He was in good spirits about it.
We have a number ending in 9413. Is that a good number to reach you at here at the end of the day?
No.
Excuse me, wrong application.
Okay. I was like, that's not mine.
We will not be calling you on that number.
Thank you. Probably not Debbie.
All right, so somebody will reach out to you later.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a good day.